afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Samiksha, how are you doing?
Sir, I'm good. Thank you for asking. I hope you are doing well too.
I find that you went to St. Raphael's High School. Who was St. Raphael?
So, in uh, Christian religion, he was an archangel who is supposed to protect the earth from the sins and evils. He is basically a protector.
When did he leave?
Sorry, so I have limited knowledge in this regard.
What do you know of the difference between Protestant faith system and Roman Catholic system?
So, based on my knowledge, Protestants believe more on capitalist thinking, that it is not a harm to pursue profit. That was opposed to the belief of Roman Catholics.
Okay. He went to Pioneer Convent School.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you understand by the word convent?
So, convent is the place where nuns reside.
Okay. So was this really a convent school?
So, initially, when the terminology emerged, it was basically about the place of stay of nuns, but with time, it became a place of education. So, even monks came and started teaching.
Okay. What is the difference between Judaism and Christianity?
So, I need to read more on this. I won't be able to express it adequately. Sorry, sir.
Okay. Tell me what motivates you to join civil service under the union government. Tell me briefly.
So, I believe civil services is the one such career which allows us to work in different departments and fields in the governance. And I believe that with my academic experience and both my professional experience, I would be contribute in the best way through civil services.
What is the difference between all India services and services which are called central services? What's the difference?
So, All India services basically include three services: IAS, IPS, and Indian Forest Services. Here, we can be placed under the union government in any place of the country. But central services are mainly which provide services for the union government. For example, Indian Revenue Services there, and Indian Postal Services are there. So that is my understanding.
Okay. Thanks, but one piece of advice. It is not plural. Service is singular, not plural. Okay? Bear in mind. Okay. Yeah.
Samiksha, the word Samiksha stands for?
So Samiksha means review, analysis, or survey.
You are speaking from Indore.
Yes, sir.
It is the cleanest city in India. What makes it so?
So the title which Indore has of cleanest city in India is a collaborative effort of its governance, its people, and the support the local body and the state government has provided it. Basically, it has been because of the change in the behavior of people and also the stimulus provided by the local body, Indore Municipal Corporation.
How they have managed to change the behavior of the people?
So they have done consultative. They have followed consultative mechanism to bring cleanliness in Indore. For example, there were public awareness campaigns. There were, as they say, morning walks where people were made aware why is it necessary to be clean. With time, people themselves joined this movement by undertaking source segregation at home itself, so the work of municipality is reduced. And alongside, they have also provided good support to the Swachhata Mitras also, who have also acted as revolutionaries in this regard.
Waste management is always a big problem for corporations, municipal corporations. How they manage the waste?
So the waste management in Indore has been done both with support of the government and the private entities. For example, in India, there are two major plants. First is a CBG plant, which is the largest plant of Asia. Here, the organic waste is taken and processed into a CBG gas. And another is a plastic waste management, where even the earlier former informal waste pickers, rag pickers, have been given formal employment, and their experience has been used to do segregation and recycle the plastic. And both of these initiatives has been very important for waste management.
Since you are computer engineer, is there any provision for waste management from the e-waste management?
Yes, so definitely, because taking example of Swachh Bharat in Indore, in Jabalpur, we have used the GPS tracking in the vans itself, where their paths are tracked and they are given the real time information is given wherever there is requirement. For example, in Jabalpur, there is something called Smart Bin, where as which has sensors, and it is connected to the computer and systems in the municipality. So as long as it crosses a particular threshold, the van gets an update that they need to go and clear it out.
You have done your MBA in finance and economics, is it?
Yes, sir.
Uh, how the parameters for what are the parameters which is adopted by the finance commission to give its reports?
So, in the last Finance Commission, the 15th Finance Commission, firstly, they have used the population measure based on 2011 census. They have used income distance, which has the highest weightage, 45%, which is the income distance from the highest earning state and the other states. And then we have also given weightage to the area under forest, and alongside that, demographic performance and tax effort.
Some southern states are objecting about the criteria of population. What's the reason?
Yes, so they have concerns because they have performed commendably in past few decades in controlling the population. However, they feel that presently they are being penalized for the same because they would be given less devolution in the finances. Alongside their seats in the Lok Sabha will also be reduced because they have lower population. So basically, they want some sort of equity where they are rewarded for their efforts, and a fairness is ensured.
Samiksha, you are working in a bank presently as probationer officer, is it?
Yes,
Right.
sir.
The government is considering the merger of some banks. See, what are the factors which must be considered for the smooth merger of the banks?
So, yes, sir. The latest proposal of creating four big banks has come up from public sector. The major factors that should be considered are, first of all, the balance sheet. It should be healthy. The NPAs of the poorly performing banks should not affect the healthy banks. But at the same time, it should also increase the asset base so that we are able to cater to the credit needs of the growing private sector, as we aim for 7 trillion economy by 2030. Alongside, employees should also be satisfied because from within the organizations there is some sort of uh, objections regarding the changes in work culture and impact on the promotion aspects. So these are the factors I'm able to think of now.
What about technology? Banks are adopting different technology. Some ones are using Finacle, some others,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
right? That's all.
Okay. Samiksha, you have a background in computer science engineering.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to ask you a question, which is mostly there in the current affairs, which is also seen as a disruptive force today, which is the technology of artificial intelligence. So, can you explain me, how would you explain what is artificial intelligence for someone who doesn't understand technology? And my second question is, what are the applications of artificial intelligence that you foresee in the government of India today, whatever service they provide to the people? Three important areas where you think that there is a possibility of wide scope of application of artificial intelligence.
So the first question of how I would explain artificial intelligence to a layperson. So I would just say it is ability of a computer to act in a manner a human does, to respond in a way human does, because that is what is happening to an extent in reality, where people are not able to differentiate between the human created ideas and interactions and the ones created by artificial intelligence. A good example of that is deepfakes itself. Another question is the services of that artificial intelligence could provide in future. First of all, I believe it would have great significance in the public services, where a lot of redundant tasks can be automated and can be reduced so that the human manpower can be utilized in other aspects. Third, I believe it could be used in financial industry, where for example now India is moving towards the investment and undertaking, they are diversifying to different financial products. So use of artificial intelligence can help in stuff like portfolio rebalancing, and deciding the best investments for the retailers and providing adequate and holistic knowledge.
For the government, do you think that it is a very primary function of the government?
Sorry, sir, can you pardon?
I asked you where the government can apply this artificial intelligence in delivering the services to the people.
Sorry, sir. At that time, I think the voice dropped. That's why.
No issues, please. Can you think of it? Three important areas probably where it can apply in where the government deliver the services to the people.
So, can you just give me a moment?
Yeah, please.
So, first, I told you that it can be used in reducing lots of redundant work of the government.
Example. Can you give me specific example?
So, example as in, for example, an IS officer, rather than sifting through lots of files in order to analyze the trend, it can just give the information to Chat GPT or any generative AI, and it can summarize the desired parameters and trends to the public servant themselves. So, it will reduce their task of doing the redundant work where they have to invest lots of time. Another thing I realize is that it can help in implementation and good delivery of schemes, because it can help in automation. For example, often there are lots of leakages and corruption in the way the implementation of schemes is done. Even, for example, public delivery, public distribution system for food. So in that case, there's lots of around 27 to 28% of funds are diverted. So AI can help in automating that and creating more transparency in the process. Third, I believe that it can help in grievance redressal and public interaction, because, for example, we have a portal called CP Grams. So here, a person is assigned till a point of contact is not assigned. The person has to wait for the response. So here the AI can itself talk to the the concerned individual and provide them inputs and uh, transfer the uh, transfer the necessary complaint to the departments rather than waiting for an intermediary.
Okay, Samiksha. Now I'll ask you a question on where you work right now, which is related to your job, where I see that you are presently a probationary officer in Canara Bank. Have you ever heard of something what is called as priority sector lending?
Yes, sir.
Can you just brief me? Very brief. What is this priority sector lending?
Priority sector lending is mainly targeted to the sections who are who were erstwhile and also presently they are focused less upon in the case of credit creation and lending. For example, farmers often they do not have necessary collateral, so they are not given loans. So
All right. Just who are the beneficiaries of the priority sector lending? Just tell me the beneficiaries.
yes, sir. So it's the farmers, MSMEs, export sector also, startups also. Some startups also get it, And in case of education, so these five come to my mind as of now.
Now I'll just put you in a situation that a farmer comes to you and is looking for a loan under the priority sector lending,
Yes, sir.
and you are the authority to give or to deny, but based on the documentation you feel like this the documentation doesn't have one particular paper uh, that is necessary to give the loan, but at the same time you have a little bit of discretion, which is where you can decide on that. And also in the audit, probably you will have to provide it if the audit comes. Although you can disperse it, but the audit, if it is happens, then you may be responsible for dispersing the loan without that particular paper. But otherwise, you feel that the farmer is completely eligible for that particular loan because you also personally know about that particular individual properly. So, as a officer, how would you decide under that this particular situation? Will you approve the loan or will you disapprove the loan? Whatever is the reason for that.
So, following Gandhiji's talisman of Antyodaya Sarvodaya, I would be in favor of dispersing the loan because what we believe is not in is the balance of both procedural bureaucracy and providing the constitutional morality. I would support the farmer in order to obtain the necessary documentation, and I would ensure that there is swift dispersal of the loan so that it does not cause any loss to the farmer who is in need of it, because that is the purpose of the scheme.
Okay, Samiksha.
Good afternoon, Samiksha.
Good afternoon, sir.
So, Samiksha, you are a computer science engineering graduate and then finance economics. And a combination of two has landed you in a job where the knowledge from both these streams is going to help you. The entire banking operation is now digital. And so is, of course, the knowledge of the finance, MBA finance. I just put you a question. Nothing comes, there is something called from input to output. So, between input and output, the entire framework is there. So, some information is coming from some place, internet provider, another is of course the benefit from the internet receiver. Why the banking frauds are happening? The banks have the account has been opened by somebody, and those accounts ultimately they say no, they are all fictitious accounts and have been credited by duping some rightful person. How the money can go into that unless and until the banking people are involved? Is it a slackness on the part of the banks, on the part of the governance, or is it that we are not able to properly understand the computer digital age?
So, the issue of banking fraud is very complicated, and it is mainly due to the loopholes in the many regulations and the complexity in the whole system. Definitely, it is possible that there are some banking individuals involved, but it is not a case in entire system. The issue is that there is somewhere lack of financial literacy on the part of people. For example, lately lots of digital arrest issue was happening, where they were forcing people to transfer the amount. So as long as a person is doing it with, even though it's forced, he's doing it with his consent. The bank.
Let me intervene in between. Now, let's digital arrest. Again, the amount is going to some bank account. You tell a person to deposit that particular amount in that particular account. That account is opened again in the bank. How that account was opened? Somebody in the bank must have opened those accounts. Somebody must have come there to open the account.
So basically, since the time of increasing access to accounts, for example, BSBD accounts were made were made available. So these accounts are basically being used as mule accounts, where the people whose account it is, they provide their access unknowingly to the responsible person, and these transactions are happening. This is my
So
understanding.
you are a computer graduate. So these mule accounts, can they not be identified?
Yes, sir. And these accounts are being identified. Efforts are being taken because the accounts which have been flagged as mule accounts, whenever a banking individual is doing that transaction, they get an alert and they have to do more due diligence in order to ensure that the transaction that is being done is fair.
Okay, due diligence. This is a good word which you have used, Samiksha. Now you must have done the due diligence while prioritizing the order of preference you have given to services. There is something called class 1, class 2 services. Class 2 is definitely is a slightly lower grade in terms both of the status and in terms of the income. You get a lower pay scale also. You have given a preference of a class 2 to class 1 over class 1. What is the due diligence you have done there?
So there are some services like Indian trade services which I have prioritized
No,
over.
but that is class 1. I am saying you have given at number 10 Delhi, Andaman, Nicobar, Lakshadweep Civil Services Group B. That is at number 10, much above the 17 class 1 services which are there, 18.
Yes, sir.
What due diligence, what rationale, what logic?
So when I started my preparation for civil services, my priority was joining an administrative service. And I believe that joining DANIX is also will give me an outlet into an administrative service. And even if I will be some grades below my colleagues, or I will have lower promotion, it is the work which matters more for me, where I would be able to make impact at ground level. So for me, if I'm for me, IAS and DANIX, they stand similar ground.
Oh, you mean the probationary officer and the clerk are as the same?
So I was.
Only a matter of years. They will also become probationary officers.
So can you pardon?
A clerk can also become a probationary officer or an officer after some point of time. So it's only a matter of years.
Yes, sir.
What is cryptocurrency? Why can't we also deal and go in for the cryptocurrency in India? What is a currency first?
So the currency is a medium of exchange which is guaranteed by government. For example, rupee is our currency. So that's how it is.
What is crypto?
So cryptocurrency is a kind of it is a, a mode of exchange. It is a medium of exchange which is based on uh, the blockchain technology.
So technology becomes the currency. Is it allowed in India or not?
So we are certainly ambiguous as at this point whether it is allowed or not, because the stance of government has been about discouraging it with taxation, and it has also strengthened the regulations against cryptocurrency in terms of anti money laundering. But it is.
Suppose you are the RBI governor. I put you a straight question. A country is known by a flag and a currency. USA has a currency called dollar and a flag. India has a currency called rupee and it. Who is the owner of the crypto? And as RBI governor, why you should not ban it? They are as good as like the Bangladeshi infiltrators.
So the cryptocurrency, as of now, it has no owner. That was the initiative. That was the rationale behind this initiative when it emerged post the 2008 financial crisis. And as an RBI governor, I would take a middle ground. I would want to ban the unregulated currencies. For example, Bitcoin is there. It has so much of volatility, and retailers participate in it. and they suffer due to the volatility, and they lose lots of money, because recently in October the Bitcoin reached around 1.1 100,000, but now it again fell down. So I would want to regulate this kind of trading, which is sort of like speculation. However, I will support the central government backed cryptocurrency, because it is an emerging technology, and we should, as a country which is the fastest growing country in the world, I would support the emerging technologies.
Okay, thank you, Samiksha. Sir.
I find an interesting entry in your DAF, reflective diary writing. What is it and what do you write?
So, in reflective diary writing, it is not only about noting down the happenings of the day. It is about reflecting about what I felt and what was my takeaway. It is about expressing my emotion. And about what I write about the things and my understanding of the world in it.
Okay. Do you know about the diary of Anne Frank?
Yes, sir.
Who was she and what did she write? And where did she live? You have any idea about it?
Yes, sir. So, Anne Frank was a little girl who lived in Germany during the time of Hitler. And when he was undertaking the night of broken glass, when lots of Jews were attacked, she was hiding in basement of her relatives, and she used to write and reflect about the day-to-day things which were happening.
Have you read this book?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me, if you are asked to assess the economic situation of a state in India, what numbers will you look at? You are in the government of India, maybe in the Planning Commission, now it is called something else, Niti Aayog. You are asked to make a quick assessment with your background of business management plus your role as a banker. What numbers will you look at to understand the health of the state economy?
So, state as in the state of the India.
India, yeah, quite right.
So, first I will look at the GSDP, which is the gross state development product. Another thing, I will look at GSDP per capita, because it should not favor the large states versus small state. Another thing is growth rate, inflation at state level, fiscal deficit, definitely, because it shows the health of a government. And also, I will look at the labor force participation
Okay,
based on the sectors.
right. Tell me, how do you see Durand line and McMahon line? What is Durand line? And what are the issues involved in Durand line even now?
So, McMahon line is the line between India and China near. Oh, sorry, sir. It is not between India and China. It was between India and Tibet earlier, and now it has become border of India and China. And Durand line is a line between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and both of them were decided during the time of British rule of India.
So you feel that it is an agreed kind of a border, frontier. Is that so?
So at that time, it was an agreement between the prevalent polities. For example, Durand Line was the deal between the Amir present there and British government. However, it did not take into account the concerns of the citizens there, the residents there. So I'm not saying that there should be complete revision, but definitely there should be consultation at ground level to accommodate their needs and aspirations also.
Okay. Are you familiar with the expression IMF's bailout package? What is IMF and what is World Bank? Since you're a banker, I'm asking you this question. Is there any difference?
So IMF and World Bank both are Bretton Woods institutions which came post Second World War to help in reconstruction of destroyed economy.
What do you understand by these two words you mentioned, uttered? Bretton Woods. Where is it?
Sorry, sir. I will.
What is the current legal status of IMF and the World Bank?
So pardon, please.
Legal status under international system.
So I will have to look more on that. Sorry, sir.
Okay. What do you know of our foreign trade? What is the size of our foreign trade? And what are our main partners?
So India's foreign trade is very vibrant. We have around 46% of GDP as foreign trade.
How much you said? How much?
So total trade is around 46%. However,
Of what? 46% of what?
so GDP.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And our major partners are USA and UAE, Australia, and European Union, definitely. And I have heard mention of Netherlands also, which is also an important importer of Indian goods. And recently, we are pushing for free trade agreements, and we are expanding our market base. For example, we are making inroads in Africa also, which has lots of demand for Indian goods.
Okay. Tell me, what's the role of green tribunals?
So Green Tribunal has been basically made in order to provide faster adjudication of environment related disputes and provide expertise also, technical expertise.
What is climate change? And how does it affect the economy?
So climate change is long-term changes seen in the climate in terms of temperature and the weather events, recurring weather events, changes which are seen in that. And their impact and this is basically from the time of industrial revolution from these changes are reported, and their impact on economy, first of all, our basis food, agriculture is being gravely affected by it, so there will be supply demand mismatch, so it can increase the inflation, and it can further cause spiral into other sectors because there will be changes in wages, there will be shortage of raw material raw material, so there will be shortage in the final product, and there will be effect in demand also, so it can cause havoc in the economy.
Thank you. Your interview is over. We'll brief you now.
Thank you, sir.